Hey guys, Mike's going to be joining us here in a few minutes. Uh, I think the one thing that stands out to me in this one, if I'm being honest with everybody, I feel like at the end of the game we played not to lose instead of playing to win. When you have an opportunity, and we've done this all season, when you have an opportunity to go and win a game instead of doing a play action or God forbid throwing a ball, it is run and try to do it. And then we run down the field and we have a great run, and then there's flags and flags and flags, and it's pretty unbelievable. And then on fourth down, instead of going for it on fourth down and going to win the game, we put it back into the hands of our defense. We put no pressure on David Carr. And I got to tell you, if you're not going to put any pressure on the guy, he's going to chew you up. He's going to chew you up, and he did. He's a experienced quarterback against a very beat up. We had Myles Garrett out there at the end of the season or at the end of the game, and he was just a body. I mean, literally no more than a body, because he wasn't able to do anything. That groin did something. So, really quick, shout outs to Steve Z, Derek Jones, Wolfstan, Steve T, David Smith, Derek Jones, Chubba Wubba Hub, Mids Plug, Billy Mo, Ray, Kyle Lou, Xander, Cleveland BCI, Roger King. Guys, this is, stranger things could happen. We could still end up winning the division, but, I think this game was taken from us as soon as, half our damn team tested positive. This game was taken from us. So we had a whole team of asymptomatic players, mostly. I mean, I don't know if anybody's actually sick or not, but asymptomatic players who couldn't go out and play. Nick Mullins went out there, played his heart out. Defense went out there, played their hearts out. And unfortunately, we do not have a kicker that we can rely on to kick a field goal that matters. And in the NFL, you saw what happened tonight. They had a field goal kicker who made kicks. They iced him. He made 2 in a row to win the game. Carlson can kick. We do not have a place kicker. We didn't have one last year. We didn't have one the year before. We didn't have one the year before that. We didn't have the one the year before that. It keeps going on and on. I think that's the one thing. They show us the jersey of the quarterbacks. Show us the jersey of the damn kickers and punters. I mean, my God. Every punt was off the side of this guy's foot. I mean, I thought Gillen was bad. But man, Colquitt, besides the one punt which at this point you'd almost have to say was an accident, right? McLaughlin has come back down to earth in a big way, guys. McLaughlin came down to earth in a big way. And unfortunately, that means our season's pretty much over. But hey, you know what the thing is, guys? I'll tell you this. I've been saying it all season. Last year we won all those close games. We held them. We did it. And this year we can't get anything to go our way. Steelers, the first Ravens game, Chargers game, this game. It's like, when you have those, when you're in a tight division and you have close losses, those pile up. And we are what our record says we are. We're an average team. We're average. That's it. We're average. We're 7-7 team. Do I think our first team with our whole team goes out there and wins tonight? I think based on what we saw today, without a doubt. Without a doubt, we're a better team than the Las Vegas Raiders. But because we have a pandemic of 99.999% of people surviving, we can't have our players who are vaccinated. They confirm that. We can't have our guys out there. You know what team they didn't test? They didn't test every player who wasn't showing symptoms. The Las Vegas Raiders. Yeah. So we lost half our team. And the Raiders get to do whatever the hell they want. Now, it was nice that they moved this back 2 days. We got 2 players back, or 3 players back. It was nice. Nice of them to take away cut out our legs underneath us and then hand us a wheelchair. That was nice. Oh, yeah. Here, we'll move you 2 days later and let you have a couple guys back. Great. It sucks, guys. The fact that we were out there yet again with this much talent and every team knows how to beat us. And it is crystal clear. It's not even, I'm sitting there calling out what plays they're running, which direction they're running. So if I can do that at home, offensive coordinators, they can do it. They know what we're running. It is we have a boring ass vanilla offense. We gave Derek Carr on first down. Let's look at the stats. Let's look at the stats. This is going to be interesting. Derek Carr was 25 of 38 with a touchdown and a weird interception. Okay. 25 of 38. Josh Jacobs, 15 for 52, held him in check. Peyton Barber had a couple nice runs, 5 for 34. Zay Jones, Foster Marino, Mario. I don't know how to say his name. I don't give a shit. Nick Mullins, 20 of 30, 147, 1. Fine. Wasn't spectacular. Had a bunch of drop passes on him as well. Nick Chubb, 23 for 91, averaged 4 yards, 1 touchdown. Dearness Johnson, 1 carry for -2 yards. Odd. Donovan Peoples-Jones, 4 catches, several that hit his hands that he was either well defended or just unable to catch. Then you have other ones that hit his hands and he makes these circus catches. Yeah, Myles Garrett, 3 tackles tonight. Nothing else. Your defensive player of the year, Browns. He's a 99 in Madden. Three tackles. Stats for the game. Time of possession, 33-24 for the Raiders, 26-36 for us. The Raiders, Daniel Carlson, 3 for 3, 100%. Longest for 48. Browns, Chase McLaughlin, 0 for 1, 2 extra points. We punted 7 times. We were 6 of 14 on third down, 1 of 1 on fourth down. They were 6 of 13 on third down, 1 of 1 on fourth down. They allowed 2 sacks. We allowed no sacks today. That was actually pretty good. Penalties, we had 3 for 61. They had 7 for 64. And we had a gift at the end of the game when they called the holding play where they went down. They were on the 30-yard line. They called a holding play. And our defense could not protect underneath, and we couldn't get the Carr. Our defensive line could not get to Derek Carr when we needed him to. Hey, Mike's here. Hold on 1 second. Let's bring him in. There we go, Mike. Mike, how's it going?
It's going.
Yeah. It's pretty bad, right?
Well, you get that turnover, and I get it. I was just having a conversation a little bit earlier on Twitter about it, and Chubb is the guy. I get it, but you can't run 3 straight times. I mean, if it's if it's 3rd and 8 or it's 3rd and 9. Where you lost yards and it's 3rd and 11. I get it. It's tough trying to convert passing, and there's a chance that you have a turnover or you have a sack, fumble, whatever.
Yeah.
But 3rd and 3, after you have that big turnover, All you need to do is get a first down. And I knew that they were going to run the ball. You knew they were going to run the ball. Everybody in the chat knew that they were going to run the ball. And I get it. He's probably your best player on offense at that point. But I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, if it did matter, Walter Payton would have just run and run and run and run. But the guys on the other side are paid to stop the guys that run the ball, no matter how good those guys are. So run a bootleg, right?
Yeah.
Roll out to the edge, and at least attempt to get the first down. You can't run 3 straight times, let them use their timeouts. You still got the 2-minute warning, and then punt it away and hope that the defense that's been on the field all game, who played a hell of a game, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And expect them,
Yeah.
you know, to make those stops. And I just, I don't know. And the kicker should be gone tomorrow. You know,
I mean, what was that stat that they were saying? Like what he's like how bad he's been recently? Like
putrid.
He's missed 6 of his last 10.
Yeah, putrid. And I mean,
he should honestly, like, that is the definition. Like, he lost the game today.
Kicking 101.
He lost the game.
If they call the timeout before you're through your motion, don't kick the ball. Don't kick the ball. But I know how this goes. I've been watching the NFL since I was 8 years old.
Yep.
You kick the ball through the uprights when they call the timeout before the play started, and guess what? I could guarantee you that if you go back and look through the stats, 8 out of 10 times, the guy's missing the next kick through.
Unless you're Daniel Carlson.
Yeah, unless you're Daniel Carlson, or I mean, and I mean, the guy's a stud. That's why they just threw all that money at him.
Yeah.
And or Justin Tucker.
I mean, probably 2 best kickers in the league.
Yeah. Oh yeah, without a doubt. And you just, like, you look at someone like Greg Zuerlein, right? I mean, he'll go out and he'll miss an extra point, and then he'll boot, 3 40-yarders and a 57-yarder, and all's forgotten, right? But I mean, this kid, I mean, I don't know. I keep coming back to that.
Hey, real quick.
Yeah.
Chubba Wubble Hub, thank you for the 3 months of membership. He says, all I got to say is look at the spread and money. So Chubba Wubble Hub is like me. He is a tin hat wearing guy. And Cleveland Ethan coming in with a super chat. Complete pain. All I have to say about this game. Should be used to this as a Browns fan by now.
And that's and Cleveland Ethan is right. And I tweeted something out earlier that frustration after frustration, it is. And we fought back in that game. And those guys could have gave up after the holding on Teller, and then they got pushed back out to the 20, but they didn't, and they scored. And then it's you can't have a turnover like that and then go 3 and out. They didn't even have any timeouts. They had no timeouts.
It was what I said before you joined. We were playing not to lose again this year. This coaching staff it doesn't matter if it's Stefanski, Prefer, Van Pelt. It doesn't matter who it is. Joe Woods. We were not playing to win this game. We were playing to not lose. And at that point, somebody's got to grab their sack and call a play that's not so fucking vanilla. It's just and all night. My dad and I were sitting there going all night. What was the most Chubb got? 4 yards up the middle all night. Maybe he broke 1 for 9. All night he was getting stuffed.
Yeah.
And yet when he runs left or right, when they're pulling, the majority of the time he's able to get to the corner. And yet we're running it basically up the middle or off. We're running off tackle. But it's not a design to go to the sideline. We're running off tackle.
And here's a good one for you. Did Mullen even get dirty?
No, we didn't give up 1 sack.
Yeah.
So I get your point. They couldn't get to our quarterback. And I got to tell you, I liked his poise. He sat in there.
Oh yeah,
He
I thought he played a great game.
I mean, honestly, the kid doesn't have the tools that Baker has. He doesn't have the big arm. He doesn't have elite ball placement, but good enough to do it.
Put
And
that one right in the breadbasket for DPJ. And I get the defender punched the ball out, but he should have never turned around and looked at the guy. Like he should have caught the ball and just fell backwards, out of bounds, done deal. And you know what? It's easy for me to say because I'm sitting on my couch, but at the same time, I didn't play football at University of Michigan, and I'm not playing in the NFL. So if you're on a roster, you should be making plays like that.
yeah, I mean, I think I mean there was a bunch of them. The first half of the game, DPJ, I mean, he couldn't bring anything in.
No.
And the second half, they start throwing it to him. He has to make these circus catches. He makes them.
Yeah,
It's just weird.
I think that, and this is going to sound crazy to some, but you just can't, in this league today, you can't just rely on the run and the pass just to be a thing that, offsets the fact that you're just going to run. You can't find me a team in the league that is successful and wins Super Bowls doing
Not
that.
anymore.
Not anymore.
And you know why? It's because the defensive linemen and the defensive ends are so damn athletic. And if you put giant human beings on the line of scrimmage and you just say don't move, sit there, and then you put super athletic linebackers who can come up and stuff, and you're going to put 8 to 9 guys in the box. I mean, that's the recipe to beat the Browns. It's the book. They know it. As good as Nick Chubb is, it doesn't matter. He's not going to beat 9 guys in the fucking box.
No. And you know what? Everybody knew that we were running on that last series. Obviously, the Raiders knew it because they stuffed it, especially on that third down play. They knew it was coming. Yeah. They stuffed it. You got to be able to. I mean, you cannot tell me, right? The way Mullins was playing, the way the line was blocking, and the way the passing game started catching on, Bryant started getting open, DPJ was making catches. You cannot tell me that if they went play action on that 3rd and 3, that somebody wouldn't have been open to at least have an opportunity. I would rather they had run that and somebody dropped the ball a la OBJ on that 4th down where it was right in his hands and he just I'd rather go down that way than just running the ball 3 plays, kicking it away and hoping that you're already, deflated. Deflated is probably a bad word, but tired defense is going to hold it. And they almost did. But I mean, you can't. I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, you play coverage, you do okay, and then you throw a blitz in there like they did on that last play. And if it gets home, we're all having a different conversation. And it just.
Hey, I mean, here's the thing, man. I mean, the reality is, I think we learned very early on that this team is this is they play. I'll tell you this. I think the Browns played their heart out tonight. I think I will give them a lot of credit because they went out there despite the week that they had, despite not having their head coach, despite all the question marks of when's the game's going to be played and who's going to test negative and are they going to have a one of their quarterbacks or not. Going with a practice squad kid who played well, the defense doing it when they had to do it. We lost the game because we missed a very makeable field goal again. I mean, that's why we lost.
I mean, I would if you asked me the game, I would say obviously the field goal, but then, and I mean, kickers miss kicks, but he's been doing this for far too long.
Yeah, not this much.
If it was like a Daniel Carlson and he just happened to miss that one, I mean, you can't make them all. But I mean, his track record recently, I mean, most definitely you could point to that field goal again, and then that play calling after the interception. I mean, I think you could point to those two things, and that's what cost us the game. I mean, I thought that Joe Woods called a great game today. I'd have to say. I mean, think of how many people he was missing defensive linemen. He was missing his defensive ends. He missed Tack was gone in the second half there after he went down. We had no safety depth. We had no starting strong safety. Our first corner, Denzel's our one, but our 1A has been out with the concussion. You're missing Mac Wilson. We were missing somebody else on the in the linebacking crew. I can't remember who it was, but he was missing a lot of people, I guess is really what I'm getting down to. And they played well, especially for as long as they were on the field. I there's a lot of times this year where we could say, what's Joe Woods doing? But like, I know some were a little angry. Oh, why is he going to zone at the end there? I mean, at that point, you have to pick your poison, because you give Derek Carr a second shot and he's going to get you into field goal range. I mean, we've seen it time and time again. So, you take your shot, and if they get home, you're a hero. And if they don't get home, someone's going to be left one-on-one, and that's what happened. But, it is what it is. But that play calling, I don't know. I have to tell you, I'm so gutted, first and foremost. And we finally get a game on Christmas primetime kind of thing. And
it's not really going to matter.
I don't even feel like getting in my outfit. You know what I mean? Like, it's just depressing. It's just depressing.
Chase McLaughlin started off the season 9 for 9 through the LA Chargers game. 9 for 9. Okay. Some of those kicks were ugly too, but they made it.
Yep.
The last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, the last 9 games, he is 6 for 11. That's a field goal percentage of 54%.
Yeah.
That means when he lines up the kick, it's basically a coin toss if our kicker's going to make it or not from any distance.
We've been okay.
Distance.
We've been okay with that, right? We just keep marching him out there.
And also, he is 94% from extra points. So he missed 1 extra point during that 8-game stretch. Okay.
And I mean, he missed the kick against the Ravens. You win that game.
Yeah. I mean, let's say that is a total of 15 points that we left on the field because we don't have a kicker. Now you look at Carlson. I'm not even going to bring up Tucker because you can't compare that. Right?
No, you can't.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Last 8 games. Daniel Carlson. I'm Steven. Daniel Carlson. 18 for 20. 90%. He did miss 2 extra points, but I'll take the 2 missed extra points for a 90%. Super chat comes in for Larry Kirk. Called a great game to the last drive. Couldn't stop Carr with a holding penalty. Where was Miles today? Needed the big guy. The big guy was not a difference maker today, and he was injured at the end of the game. So, which then leads me to believe, is he a go for Christmas? And even if he is a go, doesn't matter, because like does a 50% Miles? I mean, at the end of the game, he was hobbling. I mean, that wasn't like, oh well, he tweaked it a little. He was hobbling at the end of the game, right?
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, worst case scenario, or best case scenario, I should say. I don't know. I don't think I can't see them going into Green Bay and winning that game. If they all came back off the COVID list and we had a healthy Miles and Tack wasn't obviously gone, I'd say, like I did in the pregame show, we'd be looking really good. But I mean, this took the wind out of our sails, right? So, I mean, I can't imagine the team is going to be to be too thrilled. But I mean, then you go to Pittsburgh, and then you got Cincinnati at home. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, this was a. You know what? I got to tell you, like, if for some miracle we end up squeaking our way into the playoffs, how far do you think we're going to go?
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with you. At this point, it would just be, for me personally, it would be a waste of money for me, because there's no, you know, Cinderella is not coming out of this thing,
No.
So
No, not when you got, Kareem Hunt's injured left and right.
Yep.
Conklin's gone. Wills has been injured all damn year. Now Miles is injured. In order to put together a championship team, you have to have excellence in execution, excellence in preparation. You have to have excellence on all three sides of the ball: offense, defense, special teams. And today we were okay on defense. We were okay on offense. And then we failed on special teams, and the special teams lost the game. Whereas the Raiders were okay on defense, okay on offense, and their special teams was perfect.
And
perfect.
And the crazy thing of the whole thing is, if you don't have COVID, and all those guys are with us, I believe strongly that a healthy team, the team that played last week against the Ravens, would have destroyed this Raiders team.
Yeah.
I truly believe that. I think they would have put up 24, 28 points against this team. No doubt. But I mean, it's not in the cards, and it sucks that we have this kind of situation where, COVID strikes back, the sequel, not to be confused with the Empire Strikes Back, but it is what it is. And now you're starting to see across the league that, it's running away. So I don't know. It is what it is. The only thing that we know is that we were just disappointed. It's 8:30 on a Monday night. I feel like it's 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
And we're in last place. Like, I don't know how much more I could take of this. I really don't.
Yeah. It was like, I still think back to last year to win in 11 games, and how happy we were. Almost, it just felt like every week we were happy. Every week we woke up on Monday and we were just drinking out of the mugs, and we were happy, and it was awesome. And then this year it has been the complete opposite. It's just been disappointing. It's been complete disappointment. And I think the other thing too is it comes down to expectations. If we were the Lions and we won 7 games, we'd be high as a kite right now. We're playing relevant football in late December, and we're the Lions. But when you have the talent we have, when you have Coach of the Year, when you have guys that are entering what would seem to be their early stage veteran prime years: Myles Garrett, Baker Mayfield, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, Denzel Ward. Then you have a guy who just, who's just lights out as a rookie linebacker in JOK. You got another rookie defensive back who looks like he can be a perfect complement to Denzel Ward, and you get injuries, COVID, just left and right crap, and then on top of that you get piss poor play calling. It's just like and then the other teams, like the Ravens, kicking a 68-yard field goal to win a game. You look at that and you're like, you know what, guys, let's go out. That's what I tried to do tonight. I went out tonight with trying to like really hold back my expectations, because I know if I was really gonna be super into this, like I knew I was gonna be ready for a letdown, because this was a major uphill. This was an uphill battle for us the whole way because of what we had to deal with this week, you know. And I think if we just had a kicker, and you know what, you look at the league. I mean, kickers. How many guys in college are just fantastic? Like, we got college kickers that are out there, and I don't know, for some reason we just cannot find a consistent kicker.
Yeah, not since Phil.
I mean, at the end of the day, at this point, let's say this. Let me ask you another question. Let's say by a miracle we make the playoffs. In the playoffs often come down to a kick early in the game, make or miss, or late in the game, like we saw tonight with Daniel Carlson. You have to be able to put 3 points on the board when you have an opportunity to put 3 points on the board.
How about Josh Gordon tweeting, "Good game. Brownies are almost there," with a crying, laughing face.
That's great.
Yeah, maybe.
You know what? What did the Browns organization and the Browns fan base ever do to Josh Gordon?
Just try to help him, like to the point of that it was too much.
I gotta see this tweet. Josh. Flash Gordon. Smiling face with open mouth and cold sweat. Oh, look. A wild junkie. Here's in the chat.
I knew you were going to do something.
I want to see if there's a good junkie. Is there a good junkie gif out there?
That I do not know.
Look at that. Junkie. There we go. I threw a Tony Montana at him. You get the Tony Montana. Yeah, so it's pretty bad, man. It's pretty bad. It hurts, you know. It's you and I have super chat comes in. It's a boy. Just smashed my 4K TV in front of over 30 guests at my cocktail party because of that game. Currently crying and vomiting. I bet my children's education fund on the Browns winning.
God, I hope that's all false.
Yeah,
but if it's not, that's pretty epic.
I marked that one up to probably didn't happen, but if it did, yeah, it didn't. But it's a boy. Appreciate the $10, man. I really do. I love you guys. I really do. And you guys make it fun. You guys make it fun for me and Mike and my dad and everything. And, you know, for me today, guys, today was a really rough day for me personally. Like, emotionally, I'm still kind of drained from today. I had to put my dog down. It was really rough. And I was hoping that we would get a win to try to, you know, take the edge off of, you know, that loss of a family member today. And it sucks that we couldn't get it done. But, you know, we still got a couple games left. You know, even if we go out and we lose a couple, we win a couple. The reality is, this is we've been saying this for weeks now. This is not a champ. If you look at what Green Bay is putting on the field right now, they're a championship caliber team. Dallas, fucking Dallas, is a championship caliber team at this point, right? Yeah. You know, you look at what these guys are doing, and there's not that many. I'd say like the Chargers, the Chiefs, Dallas. I mean, I would have said the Cardinals, but no, the Bills are kind of like up and down. Tampa Bay, who looks amazing, just lost Godwin for the season, and Mike Evans is going to miss time, and Antonio Brown's still not there. Fournette gets injured. It's just, but at least they look like a championship team. We don't look like it. It sucks, but we don't.
Yeah,
So.
I mean, it's yeah. I don't know. I just don't. I'm tired of the, oh well, we were missing guys, and I mean, the Raiders weren't missing as many as we were, but I mean, they were missing some key guys as well, and if you subtract the play calling that has aggravated me since it happened, and this whole show, after the interception, if you erase that, the guy that lost the game, if we take away the play calling from me, is a guy that was not a replacement, right? He's a guy that's been on the squad for 2 years, and that's the kicker, right? So, you can't even say, oh, well, we had the COVID this week, and we were down a lot of guys, and they had a lot of fight and whatever. I'm not in. I don't spend the money and all this shit for moral victories, right? That doesn't get me off. I like to see actual production on the field, and they were fine tonight, right? They were fine. They were practice squad guys, third string guys. It's irrelevant. They hung in there with pretty much the Steelers' first team, except for some key guys, Waller, a couple guys on defense, and they lost the game because the kicker couldn't make the kick. And here we are again, 7-7, mediocrity. And I don't care if, remember the days of 1-15 and 1-32. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Right. I don't care.
Yeah, you can't.
I care about today, right? I care about where we are today, and where we are today is an underachieving football team with suspect play calling and suspect play at key positions. That's what we are right now.
Larry comes in the super chat. Sorry for your loss, Mike. All hail Mookie. Browns mug. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. Yeah. It sucks. Today's sucked.
Yeah.
It has. And I don't know.
Just when you thought that they were going to cheer you up, right? You thought,
with 2 minutes left, when we punted with 2 minutes left, I mean, yeah. I seen Derek Carr do that. I mean, he's a good quarterback, and they have a really good kick. Their kicker's my fantasy kicker. I've been watching him all season. He's fantastic. I picked him off wait. I didn't draft him. Got him off waivers.
Right.
He's been kicking lights out all season. So I sat there and I'm like, if he misses, it's going to be an incredible anomaly. Versus, imagine this, Mike. Let me throw this scenario at you. Imagine it's our ball. Nick Mullins gets us down for a 48-yard field goal attempt going into the dog pound to win the game. What's your level of comfort with that?
Right.
And that is the difference, guys. Like, I hate to say it, but like it seems like it shouldn't be. It seems like it shouldn't. It seems like it's like, it's like a golf swing. Like, it's just repetition. But you can't do it, It's just we do not have a guy who can put the ball through the uprights consistently anymore. Whatever he was in the beginning of the season, and honestly, last year he was lights out down the stretch.
Yeah,
lights out.
And how do you? It doesn't matter now. You might as well just let it play out, because who are you bringing in at this point?
At this point, if you're not gonna make the play, I'm not saying like I'm advocating losing, but at this point, like, what does it do for us to barely miss the playoffs? And I'm not saying that we should lose. We should go out and try to win, because who knows? Stranger things can happen. We could win 3 games and squeak in.
Yeah, I mean,
Ev-
it could happen.
everybody in the AFC North could lose, and we could win, and happen to make it. Getting to 10 wins, we could. It'd be stranger things have happened. Is it likely to happen? Probably not. Right? Probably not. But
I will say this: the worst thing that I've seen tonight is Sir Yacht crying in a tweet. It just came across my feed, and I'm embarrassed for everybody.
He's crying. Oh, he's literally crying in a tweet, like a video of Sir Yacht crying.
Oh yeah, yeah. Really? I can only imagine the sound effects. But
I think he was saying that if we won, he was going to cut his hair like Mike Davis. Oh yeah, I'm seeing it now. I don't want to play it because I don't want to.
Yeah, it's embarrassing enough.
I'll tell you this about Sir Yacht. And I know a lot of people give him shit because he's out there. But I'll tell you this. He's a really good kid. Like a really nice kid. And, I've had private conversations with him and, we talk about, stuff that we have to deal with levels of influence and mental health stuff that we've talked about. And sometimes people come like I don't have a super like neither you or I have a large enough audience that we have people that are just gonna defend us like LeBron, right?
Right.
So occasionally when people disagree with us, or if we say something that's slightly controversial or something like that, the mob can come after you.
Oh yeah.
And when the mob comes after you, I don't care who you are. Like, it doesn't feel good. It feels like you're under attack. It's still something that I deal with, even with 15,000 people on Twitter. I still deal with that, right? And me and Sir, I've talked to him about it because I know people have come after him, and when he got banned from Twitter, he had close to 50,000 followers. He was borderline checkmark guy. And I know he does some crazy stuff, but he's a really nice kid, and I think he's like one of the Paul brothers type guy. I mean, they're just doing crazy stuff to get noticed, look at me stuff. But I'll tell you this, I do like him a lot, and even when he does some crazy stuff like that, I think it's crazier the better.
Yeah, I don't know him personally. I just see some of this stuff, and I'm just like,
and that's the thing. I think that's the same thing with me. There's a lot of guys out there that I see do crazy stuff, and I'm like, oh, they're an asshole. Like the Paul brothers. I'm like, oh, they're assholes. They're probably nice guys, right? Deep down, they're probably nice guys. But I do know Joey. I wouldn't say I know him. Like, I don't hang out with him. I mean, he's obviously up in Ohio, but the times I've talked to him, some of the things that he said to me privately, helped me a couple times when I felt like the world was coming down on me because of something I said about Lamar Jackson or some shit. and he helped me out. So I think he's a good guy, but everybody has their opinion.
Yeah, I just saw it. Just
so Larry Kirk comes through with another super chat. Where do we go from here, guys? Off season, does Barry take some sort of blame for this roster as well? I mean,
good question.
It is a good question, but literally though, guys, we have a kicker that is 54% in the last 8 games. And a lot of the NFL comes down to a point or two, let alone 3 points, right? And if you have a guy who you put out there and every time he goes out there, it's a coin flip whether he's going to make a kick or not, and then your games are going to come down to, within a field goal, you're not going to win a lot of those games. Whose responsibility is that? Barry, signs you to do your job.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll get grief for this, but
if you get grief, I'll defend you as well, Mike.
If you look at last year's drafts outside of Newsom and JOK, give me the bright spots.
I mean, I rewatched the first half of the Kansas City game with my dad this weekend. Mm-hmm. I tell you, Schwartz looked like he was the real deal.
For a minute,
he looked like he was the real deal. Like, he was like, holy crap, we stole this kid in the 5th.
And you just bring up an interesting point. So the front office knows that OBJ might be a problem, right? And notice, except for the they were up against Cincinnati because they were, it was the back against the wall. We don't want, OBJ's gone now, and we don't want it to be oh, that's why they, they're not winning or whatever. And they went out and they tattooed Cincinnati, right? Aside from the Lions game, after that, right? Since OBJ's been gone, this run offense has been okay. Like that's about it. Okay, right? I can't say anything else besides that. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, I think we had like 20 yards total rushing or something like that. It was more than that, but it was like Kareem Hunt had 20 yards and Chubb had like 10 yards on the game. It was something ridiculous. And I've talked about that ad nauseum because of the double teams that he drew and etc. But getting off that, right? Last year, they knew that like this didn't just start happening, right, with OBJ. Like it did, it wasn't just all of a sudden that he was grumpy about not getting the ball, or, he didn't like playing with Baker, et cetera. It was brewing last year, right? So they knew. And for the past couple of years, they've drafted a receiver in the 6th round and they've drafted a receiver in the 5th round. So that you could have a problem with your quote unquote number 1 receiver. And like, that's it. Like he goes away. And what do you got left? You got Landry in the slot and nobody else. And we've ignored the position, right?
Yep.
And, you heard so much about Schwartz and, oh my God, he's going to take the top off the defense and et cetera, et cetera.
Where's he been?
Where's he been? And I know he's been out with a concussion, et cetera, but he played tonight. He was on the field. So you mean to tell me that
I did not realize he was on the field tonight.
He was on the field tonight. All I've been told is he has world-class speed, right?
Which he does.
He has world-class speed. Where is it? I haven't seen anything being taken off.
Oh, it's so weird. He obviously didn't have reception. That's why I was like, I didn't feel like he was out there. Rashard Higgins had 3 receptions. So let's go back to your original question about how did the Browns look. I think drafting Newsome at 26 was because like who else could we have gotten? Let's think about that. And if we didn't take Newsome, who could we have gotten at 26? Rashad Bateman went 27. He's a heck of a player. Who else? The Jets took Elijah Moore at 34.
Another great receiver.
Arizona Cardinals, Rondale Moore at 49. And then, who knows? But and I was wrong. We took Schwartz in the 3rd, dude.
Oh, in the 3rd round. So I mean,
we didn't take him in the 5th. I thought we took him in the 5th.
So that's even worse.
So let's go through this. So yeah, so we have a 3rd round wide receiver that at this point doesn't look like he's. I mean, look at Renfro tonight.
When was the last time?
Unbelievable.
Besides DPJ against Cincinnati, when was the last time you saw like a legit deep shot where a double move, some type of deep post, anything? I haven't seen one in forever. I mean, you had the one down the sideline tonight to DPJ, but I mean, that wasn't a, drop back and let's let it fly kind of play. It just sort of fell that way.
It could be a combination of several things. I actually saw a stat that right now in the air, the longest touchdown in the air this season is that catch that Baker threw to DPJ. 67 yards, longest air touchdown in the season. But going back to the draft, because I think this is actually really interesting. I forgot that we took James Hudson in the 4th, who really
played well last week, but
Yeah, played well last night, but then he's out. But I mean, I think he's serviceable. But I still think you have an opportunity to get guys who can play in the first 4 rounds of the draft, and we're missing them. Then Tommy Tagaya, the kid from a defensive tackle from Ohio State.
Yep.
We took him in the 4th. We took Tony Fields, the linebacker to West Virginia, in the 5th. We took Richard LeCount in the 5th. We took Demetric Felton in the 6th. I would say Felton. I think Felton was underdrafted there. I think Felton's a guy who could have been a 3rd, 4th round guy.
He's done absolutely nothing.
It's been a while.
That one play early in the season.
The one play and then a bunch of muffed passes to the sidelines where he just
he cost us a game where he dropped the ball on 3rd down. I can't remember what game it is because they've all been nightmares pretty much.
Was Barry's first draft last year, though? The 2020 draft? Had to have been.
Yeah, the DPJ draft was Barry's first draft, I believe.
So he took
as GM. He
took Wills over Becton and Tristan Wirfs.
Yep.
And Austin Jackson. And Isaiah Wilson. So he took Jedrick Wills. He's a second. I thought he was the 3rd offensive tackle off the board. He took Jed as the 2nd offensive tackle behind Andrew Thomas. Becton, Wirfs, Jackson, and Isaiah Wilson all went in the 1st round. It would be hard. I would be hard pressed at this point to say that Jedrick is better than any of those 4. 0 for 1, Barry. You got to say. I mean, I'm not saying that Jedrick Wills is a bust, but 0 for 4. Then he comes 2nd round, Grant Delpit, who missed a whole year, and who knows what he could have been if he didn't get injured. I don't know, but nothing. 3rd round, Jordan Elliott, defensive tackle. Nothing there. Also got Jacob Phillips, 3rd round. Average at best. Harrison Bryant in the 4th round. I'll give him that one. Harrison Bryant has been okay. For a 4th round tight end, he's been fine. Nick Harris in the 5th round. DPJ in the 6th. I'll give him DPJ in the 6th. And that's it. I mean, he's not hitting home runs. I'll tell you that. He ain't hitting home runs. JOK, I would say right now, his shining draft pick has been JOK.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. And can you
Newsome, I would say, but Newsome's been injured a lot.
And I think Newsome's been adequate. I don't think he's been a home run.
Yeah.
Because look, I mean, if you go back to the guys that were right around them, Eric Stokes from Green Bay. I don't know that much about him. Tyson Campbell is playing in Jacksonville. I don't know about him. But the guys that, and you know what, a guy that was getting really close to us was Caleb Farley out of Tennessee. He got injured again. To Tennessee. But look at the guys like J.C. Horn and Patrick Surtain who went earlier in the draft. I mean, those guys are legitimate stars. And I think Greg Newsome is okay, but he's had trouble staying on the field. And right now, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is the shining guy. So who slipped, right? He slipped to us.
Yeah.
I don't know, guys. I mean, here's the reality. Are we gonna be able to find another? Is it worth it to go another draft? Okay, another draft, and pray that we get one. If we get one Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah every draft, is that good enough? When you're missing on 6 other picks, or at least foul balling, foul tipping. I get Demetric Felton, foul tip. Richard LeCount, foul tip. Tony Fields, foul tip. I mean, these aren't studs. And I gotta tell you, Mike. My last point here. Gotta tell you, I do not see big, sexy free agents looking at Cleveland anymore as a destination. I think this was our year. We had that chance. We brought in John Johnson, who's been mediocre at best.
Yeah, he's played better lately. But I would agree with that.
But he's being. I think he's basically playing out of position because the way Joe Woods is using him.
Oh yeah, I would agree with that.
Troy Hill was always pretty like average anyway. Okay, we got him. But the big one was old Jadeveon Clowney, who has, when he's out there, is a force. He's a force when he's out there. But now we're gonna have injured or COVID-ish Jadeveon Clowney and an injured Myles Garrett.
And
somebody find me the bleach because I need to start drinking.
Well, 2 points. One, when it comes to free agency coming up, and again, I mean, we're not saying the season's over. I mean, stranger things have happened, but it's I wouldn't say that it's not sunshine and rainbows right now. It's like partly cloudy, and if it rains a little, maybe there'll be a rainbow and the clouds will disperse and the sun will come back out. That's where we're at right now. But you'd have to think, and if they don't, I don't know what's going on, and I might as well stop watching football. But you would think that they're going to have to get a receiver in the first round. You need a legit,
and there's talent
number
there.
One. Yeah, I mean, talent galore. So
could you see them going 1 and 2 back to back?
I mean, I don't, knowing them, no, but again, stranger things have happened. But they at least have to. You have to go one of those. There's 3 to 4. Actually, I mean, this is actually a really rich draft at the wide receiver position. There's probably 5 guys that you could make a decision in the first round over. Seriously. But I think, to your point of free agents coming here, etc., I don't think that it's going to be a preferred destination as it started to become. I definitely don't think that it's going to be anywhere close to being a preferred destination at the receiver position, because I mean, let's face facts, nobody is sold on Baker yet. And so from a free agent type of standpoint, I would think you could probably lure like a Allen Robinson type here, right? But like the AJ Browns of the world, like they're not. I know Godwin was a free agent, but now he's got the torn ACL. But that, to use him as an example,
we might be able to get him now. I mean, but if you're Godwin, are you with the torn ACL? Are you going? I'm going to hang out with Tom Brady.
Yeah, no, you're not going anywhere, and nobody's. They're not coming here. But then the other thing that bothers me is, and this goes across the board, right? We're gonna stray away from football. And I'm gonna go into all major sports, and I can only talk for what's going on right now, and that's the NFL, the NBA, and the NHL. I think for the amount of money that everybody spends on tickets and concessions and travel, etc., this needed to be better. If you had professional sports, you needed to either say, okay, there's a vaccine out there, the statistics are showing that, players or just people in general that are vaccinated are not, getting severely ill or whatever. And, that's the hill that we were going to stand on and die on, and, trust the science, and we're playing, right? If you don't have symptoms, go ahead, go play. But the point of, you got to test negative and you can't play with it. And I get it. And I see enough shit on Twitter. Oh, you don't know what a vaccine's for. You don't know what a pandemic is. I know all of the above. However, if you're going to charge X amount of dollars for a product, then you have to be able to give me that product. And if you can't give me that product, then you need to shut down, whether it's a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And if an NFL season, an NBA season, an NHL season bleeds into the springtime, so be it. But what we're getting right now from professional sports, to me, is just bullshit, really. And you know me, I don't curse on this show, but it is. I mean, it's bullshit because it's. I mean, what did we see tonight? I mean, it was a competitive game. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, you're talking about people that spend money, and you're watching third stringers and back like that. That's not how it's supposed to be. And if you can't find a way to put that A+ product on the field across the major sports, then you need to figure something out. I think the NBA and the NHL, I think, are on the right path to where, hey, we're going to shut you down for a week and then see where you're going to be. And then they let you bring in some guys or whatnot. But in some cases too, you're still seeing that it's taken a while for these guys to come out of protocol or whatever. And again, you're getting a sloppy product on the court or on the ice or on the field in football. And I just think that it's not right. And it's money. Obviously, you and I have talked about that. It's the betting and the money to be made. And you don't want to shut things down because then the rich will continue to get richer, right? The owners of the teams, etc. But it's ugly right now. It really is. And I was telling you today when we were talking about our fantasy football team, we upped the price this year. And in a way, I feel bad that I did that in turn, because it's you're not really getting the right product. You know what I mean? It's one thing if some guy tears an ACL, that's football. But I mean, when 20 guys, 16 guys, I mean, look around the league. Travis Kelce just went on the COVID list. Jared Goff just went on the COVID list. So it's just
hey,
yeah.
He's my guy.
Yeah. So I mean, so now you need to call Detroit and you need to tell them that they need to swaddle him and keep him nice and tucked in somewhere, because that's your guy.
That's my guy.
And everybody that
I'm a Goff guy.
They know what we're talking about right now. But anyway, I know I went on a long-winded thing there, but that's just my 2 cents. Like I just what's the sense? When you can't put a solid product on the field, and you're charging top dollar for that. And it's diluted and it sucks. And that's just the way that I feel about it.
Aaron Dahl said, brought up McDowell, Conklin, Troy Hill. I think Troy Hill, he's been okay. He's had some moments, like fantastic moments, but Conklin's a guy who's been legitimately a fantastic, and Hooper's been fantastic as well. So I mean, he's got a couple guys in there. But to your point, Mike, yeah, I mean, that's why I didn't buy the Bengals tickets yet, because I was like, you know what, I want it to be I want the first game I take my wife to be a game that is meaningful, and I want her to feel the experience of being there and us winning a game, like, really getting it. I mean, she's paying her dues too, like every Browns fan. She's watching every game. She knows the players. She's asking me the smart questions. I mean, like, I'm proud of my wife for like what she's doing as a Browns fan. Like, she's become a legitimate Browns fan, and wasn't. We've been married for like, God, I mean, like, 14 years. And, and the whole time she's known me, even before we got married, she knew I was a Browns fan. She's like, oh my God, they're terrible. Oh my God, they're terrible. And then when we started winning, she's like, oh my God, this is fun. It's fun watching games when they win. And I wanted her to go to a real game where she feels it. And, but to your point, when people are investing hundreds of dollars, I mean, think about it. Can you go to a Browns game for less than $100 a person at this point? If you just look at like most nosebleed section seats,
Well,
you walk to the stadium. You don't drive. You don't park. You get a ride or you take an Uber. You don't buy anything at the game. No beer. No soda. No food for 3 hours at a stadium. Can you do it for under $100 a person and have a
I
good
mean,
time?
today, when people couldn't give their tickets away, yeah. But for, let's say, last week's game, no. There. I can't imagine there were any tickets
People today
under.
were giving seats away.
Yeah, because no one wanted to go to the game.
Even the local people in
Yeah,
Cleveland.
like people couldn't get off work, or
Oh yeah, it's a 5 o'clock game.
5 o'clock game, or they didn't. Um, they didn't like the product on the field, didn't want to pay for it, and so in turn, and
Yeah.
I know a couple of these people that you know a couple of weeks ago. I mean, I sold. I couldn't make this game. I sold my tickets and made good money off them, but as soon as this stuff happens, you can't even give them away.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm a glutton for punishment because I just put a down payment down on club seats as well, and I should have my head examined.
How many seats do you have the ability to add seats to your package or no?
No, I'd have to go. So my seats are my seats, but then there's a wait list now, so um I wouldn't be able to add anything around me unless like I could, let's say I went on the waiting list for the dog pound, and just so happened that two in front of me, two behind me, or two next to me decided they didn't want their tickets anymore.
It just goes
Then
to the next person.
yeah, and they could say, hey, you're in 120 whatever, you're looking for tickets, actually we have seats in front of you or next to you, I'll take them. But as far as like now, I'd have to, yeah, just to reiterate,
My cousin who's up there in Cleveland, he actually, it's funny. He grew up a Raiders fan, and we're both from Pennsylvania. Or he had moved around. His family moved around quite a bit, but he lived in Pennsylvania for a couple years, and we're next door neighbors, same age as me, so both exact same age, and grew up. He was the first person I played Tecmo Bowl with. Right, so like he basically introduced me.
music is going through my head.
He introduced me to football, and at that point it was like 86 ish, 87, and Browns were good, and my dad was. I remember, when the Browns made the playoffs in like 86, 87, and people were and my dad's like, God, I can't wait to watch it because we didn't get to watch a lot of the games because there wasn't satellite, right?
Yeah.
So my dad was telling my uncle, like, I'm not a Browns fan. I'm a diehard Browns fan. And this is like, my dad must have been about 37, 38 years old. So right around where I am now, maybe a little younger than me. And, so I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to be a Browns fan. Central Pennsylvania kid. Makes perfect sense. And anyway, so my cousin decided, since he moved around, he didn't have like an allegiance to like a region. So he just took the Raiders because Bo Jackson was on the team, and they were a fun team to play with, and a lot of fun to watch. So he was a Raiders fan. I was a Browns fan. And you remember those the Hutch pads that you could buy out of the Sears catalog when we were little kids? Well, he had the Raiders one. I had the Browns one. So we go in the backyard and beat the shit out of each other. In these pads. They weren't real pads. You should not have been playing football in these pads. They were for show, not for playing in. Beating the living crap out of each other in those things. He texted me tonight, and I don't know if he's at the game. I don't think he has season tickets though. And this is my point. He texted me. He goes 30 years ago, we would have been on fire watching this game.
Yeah.
And but anyway, so when we're up in Cleveland for the Steelers game, we went out to dinner with him, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I actually put in last year. He put in for season tickets. He got called, and he got club seats." Now, the club seats he has are up above you. So behind you, up there somewhere, but in that 300 section. And he basically gives them, he'll go to like 1 or 2 games a year, and he gives them the clients for the rest of the season. And, so So I know it's possible to get them even off the wait list, you know. Because what's going to happen is a lot of those people who join the wait list are probably going to be a little bit demoralized, and maybe they'll just quit. But it's non-refundable, right? Those
Yeah, if you decide you don't want them, I mean, it's $100 a ticket, but
now
I mean, not that it's chump change, but it's
yeah, I mean,
it's easier to make a decision than to jump into thousands of dollars.
Now, let me ask you this about the season ticket again. I'm just curious. If the Browns had, or any team, if the Browns had the ability to sell out every seat in the stadium, like the Boston Red Sox or the Yankees, if they had the ability to sell out every seat, would they sell out every seat, or would they have a couple sections that were like, hey, these are going to be the ones that we're going to give away, or allow people to buy?
I don't know how that works. Right? I think there has to be a certain amount of tickets that have to be able to be put on sale for
visitors, right?
Yeah, I think there's X amount of. I can look into that too, but I think there's X amount of season ticket seats, and then the rest are general public, if you will.
Yeah, and from what I remember, when I used to buy season tickets to the MLS, the MLS soccer team down here in Orlando, the real money for those guys, the ticket sales guys, are the suites. They want to sell the suites because they're getting big commission off those. Any of the seats that any of the regular seats that they're selling for you or me, they'll get a little bit of commission. I mean, they're not going to make or break their monthly, or the bag that they carry for those. But
here's something demoralizing.
Great.
Ian Rappaport. Browns pass rusher Tack McKinley is feared to have suffered a torn Achilles. He'll have an MRI in the morning to determine if that's the case. And that's what I thought when
I did too. They said ankle, and I was like, I don't think it's ankle.
Yeah, because you saw when he did it, I mean, it was reminiscent of an Achilles, but when he went to stand on it, when that lineman was next to him still,
yeah,
you could see it, like the way he went to step on his foot, and then
his foot was like kind of angled like that too,
and it just didn't work. Like you could tell, like his foot just didn't work, and he knew. You could just tell at that moment he knew, like, yeah, this is bad. I better sit down.
He was in pain too. I mean, you could tell when Miles was talking to him, he was in pain, and that's bad. That's season ending, and then even it's December, dude.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking what, October, November?
Yeah, you're looking a year, right? You're looking a year, unless you're OBJ. You're looking a year, dude. And like for OBJ is different from a defensive lineman who's got to carry, a solid 80 pounds of weight on top of like probably where a human being should be of his size. So it's not good. It isn't good, guys. And
a lot more Achilles lately, and I don't know why. I don't know if the type of training in certain regards is different, and it's putting more stress on. I don't know. Like, you see those, back in the day, even 10, 15 years ago, like you didn't see guys, doing 19-foot box jumps, and I would imagine that's a heavy strain on different ligaments here and there. But
you know what Virginia Tech does I know they do for their offensive linemen. I don't know if they do for the defensive linemen. I don't even know if this would help, but every offensive lineman at Virginia Tech wears knee braces on both knees, like the ones that lock.
Yeah.
And I wonder if that would help or not. I wouldn't put it on. I wouldn't put it on. Wide receivers, because your knees are gonna rub from time to time, and you don't want to trip yourself. But who knows? I don't know. Maybe they can design them that aren't so bulky that they click together. One of my best friends in college tore his ACL, and he was a great athlete, and we played intramural football and stuff, and he would put knee braces on both knees, like the big lineman knee braces, and he said it helped him, but I don't know.
I did mine after I stopped playing, but that was the end for me. Like what I went through with the rehab and and the surgery. I used to love playing like pickup basketball and whatnot, but and like I back in the day there, like I some of my friends played tennis or whatnot, and I'd always go mess around. I was not a tennis player by any stretch of the imagination, but it was good to keep in shape or whatnot. But
Yeah.
none of that. Like once I recovered from my knee, like maybe I would just stand in place and shoot around. But as far as stopping and starting type of motions, I haven't done it
How do you how do you
since
do the
then.
workouts then? Like what kind of workouts are you doing that aren't like knee intensive?
Well, I mean, I do the beach body stuff, and I'm still jumping around and doing stuff like that, but just not like quick stop and start, change of direction
Yeah.
kind of thing. Like I yeah, I say that now, and I'll tear something tomorrow doing something minimal, but the going through all of that, I swore like nope, not doing it again. It was just miserable. My quad died. They had a jump start. It was terrible.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Speaking of working out, I was supposed to get my Peloton treadmill
Oh yeah, you were telling me about
on
that.
Saturday. Did I tell you what happened?
No.
Okay. So not only has the COVID struck the Cleveland Browns, the COVID bug has struck the third-party outsourced delivery company for Peloton treadmills. Because I wake up, it's Saturday morning, and I booked it for this particular day.
Right.
8:00 in the morning, I get a phone call. I didn't answer it because I never have my ringer on. Like I literally, unless I'm looking at my phone, which I'm looking at my phone a lot during the day, but if I'm not looking at it, I don't get notified so I missed the call. The guy called twice, 8:00 and 8:02. Left me voicemails both times. Hey, we're 15 minutes away. We'll be there in a little bit. If you have any questions, call us back. Cool. 15 minutes go by, 30 minutes goes by, 45, an hour goes by. Where the hell are these guys? So I end up getting really pissed because now I'm like wasting my morning and I have shit to do. So I end up calling Peloton, and then after spending a half hour on the phone with them, they end up reaching the company, and he goes, he goes, yeah, they had an outbreak in it was something pandemic related, so they couldn't deliver it,
God.
and now they can't deliver to the 27th. And I'm like, oh, it's a Christmas present, so that sucks. And and they had a pandemic related emergency while they were on the way to deliver my Peloton.
Right.
They literally called me to tell me they're on the way.
Yeah, like they stopped. they stopped at the clinic real quick, took a test, and they were like, "Nope, gotta go home."
Yeah, they got the rapid test like they do, like to walk into First Energy Stadium.
It had to be a rapid test, and that there was curtains for you in the Peloton.
My God, so unfortunately got to wait. But hey, guys, we've been at it for a little while. I need to relax today. Today was a very long day, and I gotta decompress a little bit. So I think it's probably good that we call it. I want to say thank you to Larry Kirk, to Chubba Wubba, to who else hooked us up here? It's your boy. Cleveland Ethan, thank you guys very much for the super chats, and Chubba Wubba Hub, thank you for your 3 months of service in the Brownie Postgame member elite company with those 17 human beings there. If you're not a subscriber, please hit the subscribe button, help us out. We're almost to 5,000. It's probably gonna be tough. Probably gonna be tough to get there by the end of the year, but we're plugging away. And Mike, thanks for being here. Thanks for all the text messages and everything today about the dog as well. I really appreciate that. So, with that being said, thank you guys for being with us. We'll see you on Christmas. Oh no, I'm sorry. What am I talking about? At the Wednesday show.
Oh, yeah.
We got to
do this all over again.
I felt like this is the Wednesday show because it's like it's in the next week. This is the Monday Wednesday show.
So we get to cry all over again.
2 days from now.
2 days, yeah.
48 hours from now, we will be less than 48 hours from now. Mike and I will be live for the Wednesday, and We actually, because of the way the calendar is this year, we'll have 2 more Wednesday shows of the year.
Yeah.
2 more. So we'll see you in a couple days, guys. Mike, I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, I mean, there's no words, right? It seems like every time we get close, it's just not meant to be. So, I don't know what else to say. I'm sure we'll be in the Christmas spirit come Wednesday, and
I got my hat back there.
Yeah, you got
Put
your
it
hat
on.
back there. Maybe we'll be drinking the Kool-Aid again, and I'm thinking we're going to win in Green Bay. To be quite honest with you, the only thing besides being a little bit depressed on the Wednesday show that I think will be an interesting conversation for us is to see how many of the 20 plus guys will have been, have received a negative test and will be out of COVID protocol by Wednesday night. I think that's going to be very, very interesting. If you figure some of the main guys, let's say, and it's possible that they don't clear by the next time we're talking to all you guys.
It's possible.
I mean, that's over a week and a half of not practicing. So, I mean, that's going to be, then you get into that territory where, they're not going to just throw guys in there to play. So it'll be interesting.
All right, guys. We'll see you. We'll see you on Wednesday. Let's put this one behind us and try to finish up the season as strong as we can, and then we'll go from there. So with that being said, go Browns.
Go Browns.